Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name's Lottie, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is one of my favorites. It is my monthly TBR video, so we are going to let the TBR jar pick out my March TBR. I do these videos every month, and you guys really seem to love them, and I have so much fun making them. I would say I was like semi-successful in reading my February TBR. I mean, the month isn't over yet when I'm filming this, but I think I've read 4, maybe 5 of the books from my TBR, so I did an okay job, not perfect. I may go back down to 7 prompts this month. I feel like 6 to 7 is kind of that sweet spot for me, I'm realizing, if I want to actually read all the books on my TBR, but sometimes it's nice to have a bigger TBR so that I can kind of like mood read from within that. So I don't know. I can never make up my mind. I got a few comments on my last video with a few of you all being like, wait, but Lottie, what about this book that you said you wanted to read at the beginning of the video? Because what I usually like to do at the beginning of my TBR videos is I kind of go over any new releases that are coming out this month or just any books I want to read on my Kindle, and then I start picking out prompts and choosing books, and then I just completely space and forget about those non-physical reads because they're not right in front of me. So what I actually did this month is I made this little graphic for myself on my iPad that I will put a photo of on the screen, but it just says March and it has 3 different sections. So we have new releases that are on my radar for my monthly TBR. These aren't all the new releases that I want to read, but they're the ones that I don't have physically and that I am most interested in reading very soon. And then I have a section for Kindle reads. So these are books of series that I want to continue, but I don't have the physical copy of. And then also just like books I want to read. And then at the bottom, we have NetGalley. So I recently joined NetGalley, which is where readers can access early copies, advanced reader copies of books that are coming out this year to get to read them early and review them early so that the author already has some reviews on their book once the book comes out. So I requested these arcs and I was actually approved for them. You guys should have seen my face. It was like the middle of the workday, so I didn't catch it on a vlog. But when I got approved for Annabelle Monaghan's new It's a Love Story, the E-arc, I was like, oh my God, because Summer Romance was one of my absolute favorite books last year. The only reason I haven't like already started reading this is just because I feel like these are all 3 of these books seem like such great summer reads that I want to make sure I'm like in the right mindset. So if we have like a really warm week in March where it really feels like spring, I think that would be the perfect time to read these. I just want to make sure I'm like setting the vibes right. I don't think Promise Me Sunshine needs to be a warm weather week necessarily. I've heard it's more of like an emotional romance. So I definitely want to get to that one soon. Plus that one comes out like the first Tuesday in March. So that one comes out really soon. So I'd love to read it before it actually comes out. So anyway, that is my little graphic that I made so I can keep in mind the other books that I want to read that I don't have on the physical cart because my brain just tends to forget them. We also have a few up here because not everything was fitting on the cart, and that's okay. I keep outgrowing the cart, I fear. We also have The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. So many people were talking about this month. This is a new release, and it's the Barnes & Noble YA book club pick. So we have her. We also have Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. I know you guys are like, what, Lottie, how have you not gotten to this yet? Which I am dying to get to this book, but I'm in the middle of a reading vlog for a different like theme. And so I just like have to finish up the books I'm reading for that video and then I can get to this. And I got a physical copy of Onyx Storm. So I am adding this to the physical TBR. I know I spoke about this one last month, but it's actually on the physical TBR now. So lots of great books to read physically, but I'm also going to do better about remembering my ebooks too. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and pick out our first prompt. This month we're doing 7. Prompt number 1. Okay, a book with a number in the title. Let's see if we have anything. I know immediately off the top of my head, I would say Binding 13. Okay, I think Binding 13 is our only option. So I'm gonna put that one back on the TBR. Binding 13 is one that I was dying to get to this month, but I just had a few other ones on my winter TBR that I wanted to knock out in February. With it being the only book on my TBR with a number in it, I think I will go with Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I know so many of you guys want me to read this, and it's a 5-star series for a lot of you, so I am very excited to read it, and this one's on Kindle Unlimited too. This is the first book in the Boys of Tommen series, if you're unfamiliar, and I'm pretty sure this series follows a lot of like young adults at Tommen College, which is a fictional college. And I think it's set in Ireland. And I think there's just like trauma, emotional romance. It's kind of like for fans of Magnolia Parks, I've heard. Well, I think this came before Magnolia Parks, but I think it has a similar messiness to it. So I'm very hopeful to get to this soon. I think we got to put it back on the March TBR. Okay, so that was a pretty easy first pick. Let's go with prompt number 2. Ooh, okay, a book picked by mom. Let's call her. I'm gonna have her pick one from the physical TBR, not just like any book, because I want to tackle my physical TBR. I'm filming my TBR video and I got the prompt, a book picked by mom. Would you like to pick a book for my TBR?
Sure.
Okay. Or I can
Things
zoom in.
never got over.
You want that one?
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Why are you picking it?
Because I've heard it's really good and I haven't had time to read it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, book number 2 is Things We Never Got Over. Honestly, I've been avoiding this so hard, and I still have just not prioritized this series. This is on my 25 books I want to read in 2025, though, so it would be good for me to get to this. Thank you, Mom, for the pick. Okay, let's pick prompt number 3. A book you've been avoiding. Okay. I feel like Things We Never Got Over is a book I've been avoiding, but let's see if we can find another one. I don't feel like any of my e-reads are ones I've been avoiding because most of them are like new releases or continuing series. I mean, Assassin's Blade, I feel like I kind of have been avoiding, so I'm going to keep that one in my head, just Throne of Glass in general, but I want to see if anything else sticks out to me. See, I feel like a lot of these are kind of new to the TBR cart up here. Let's see. Honestly, Tell Me Lies I'm avoiding, but I don't want another toxic romance on the TBR this month since we already have Binding 13. You know what? I think I need to pick Assassin's Blade for this one. I think that makes the most sense. So just Throne of Glass in general, I feel like I've been avoiding because I know I'm going to love it. I'm going to be sad when it's over. And that's why I've been putting it off. I know I'm going to love it and I know it's going to be great. It just feels daunting to me, I think. And so I think this is a perfect excuse to put the Assassin's Blade on my TBR for the month of March. So I'm going to start with Assassin's Blade. I know you can start with Assassin's Blade or Throne of Glass, but for me, I've done some research and I think that's the way I'm going to go. I understand there's an argument for both, but please try to understand where I'm coming from. If you are a Throne of Glass first girly, I get it, but I think I'm going to start with Assassin's Blade. So we're going to put this one on the March TBR. All right, let's pick out prompt number 4. Next prompt says, a book you plan to binge. So immediately, I feel like Sunrise on the Reaping is coming to mind, and I definitely want to get that one on the TBR, but I also feel like Rebel Witch is probably a better answer for a book I plan to binge because it's YA, and I just feel like, well, Sunrise on the Reaping's YA too, technically. I don't know. I feel like YA books are really easy for me to binge because they're usually a little bit shorter. The writing can be a little bit easier to just go through quickly. I also kind of plan on binging Deep End whenever I get to it. I really want to read this one soon because everyone's been talking about it, and I feel like this is one that I could definitely just like read in a sitting or two. Okay, guys, what do we think? It's like just the new releases that I want to binge, honestly. I think I'm going to go with Rebel Witch. So book number 4 on the March TBR is going to be Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. I just cannot wait to get to this. I'm definitely going to binge it. If you guys want to see me vlog reading this, let me know. I'll definitely do that. This is a must. I must get to this soon. Okay, prompt number 5 says, highest rated book on your Goodreads TBR. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, we're gonna switch over to average rating. Oh my gosh, guys, the top rated book on my Goodreads TBR is actually Sunrise on the Reaping. It only has 716 ratings so far, but it has a 4.63, which is crazy. I think that's a sign that I need to put Sunrise on the Reaping on my TBR this month. If you guys would want to do like a book club or like anything around Sunrise on the Reaping, let me know because I'm so freaking excited. So another e-read. I'll probably pick up the physical copy. The thing is like, I have all of the other Hunger Games books in paperback, and I want my Sunrise on the Reaping copy to eventually match those. So I might just read the ebook for now, and then next year or whenever the paperback comes out, I would get it to match my copies. So that is the 5th book on my March TBR. Okay, we have 2 more to go. I feel like we need some lit fic or some mystery or maybe another romance. Prompt number 6 is a book with a love triangle. So I'm trying to think of like what I know has a love triangle in it. I'm gonna go down to my romance shelf here. I don't know. The thing is, I like to go in kind of blind for a lot of these books. Let's see. I guess like Onyx Storm kind of has a love triangle. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily call it that. Oh, Deep End. Doesn't that kind of have a love triangle? Because isn't the male main character dating the female character's best friend at the beginning of the book? That would make me feel like it's love triangle enough to count. Is Deep End a love triangle? Okay, the AI overview says that it does feature a love triangle element. This is Ali Hazelwood's latest release. It just came out in February, and it was so cool because I actually got to meet Ali Hazelwood recently at the Love Y'all Book Fest in Atlanta. So it really has me wanting to read this because I feel like everyone was reading this book while we were at Love Y'all. I feel like Ali Hazelwood, she had her initial 3 STEM romances, which was like The Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, and Love on the Brain. And then I feel like she's kind of been trying some new things lately, like last year with Not in Love. I actually really enjoyed Not in Love. I gave it 4 stars. TBRs. I think people who like Not in Love kind of like Deep End, and these are a little bit more like steamy. So I think it'd be fun to give it a go. It says a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. And this is Allie Hazelwood's first college romance, which will be fun. I'm excited to dive into this one, literally and figuratively, and see what I think, because I feel like everyone's been talking about it. We have 6 books on the TBR. Let's pick one more for the month of March. Okay, this one says a book with more than one person on the cover. So let's see what my options are. No, 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 no. Okay, I could do Never by Jessa Hastings. This has a girl and a boy. No, no. Is She Really Going Out with Him has several different people, but did it just say more than one? Yeah, it's just more than one. So it doesn't have to be like 2 exactly. So I think this one would count. So many of these just don't have any people on the cover. We could do When in Rome by Sarah Adams. We could do The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I could do You with a View. Done and Dusted has more than one person. Love Theoretically, but we already have Deep End. So we'll just do one Allie Hazelwood for now. We could also do Scythe and Sparrow, or First Time Caller, or Out of the Woods, or I could read my e-arc of The Love Haters, or I could read Promise Me Sunshine. I wish I could do a vote for this one because I feel like there's so many options. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but I think out of all of them, I really want to read First Time Caller, so I think I may put First Time Caller on the March TBR because I really want to get to it. And I've never read anything from BK Borison. I'm really interested in reading her work and just seeing what I think of her as an author, so I think that'll be the 7th and final book on my March TBR. See guys, I did a lot better this month making sure to incorporate my Kindle reads. So we've got 4 physical books, 3 Kindle reads, and 7 total books on the TBR. So now that we've picked all of the books for my March TBR, let's do a quick recap. The very first prompt I pulled was a book with a number in the title. So for that, I chose Binding 13, the first book in the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. The second prompt that I pulled was a book that you've been avoiding. So for this, I chose The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is the prequel to the Throne of Glass series. So I really want to read this and hopefully get into Throne of Glass very soon. The third prompt I pulled was a book picked by Mom. So I gave her a FaceTime call and she picked out Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. She just said she'd been seeing it everywhere. She hadn't read it yet. She wanted to know what I thought, and I feel the same. So I've had this one on my TBR for so long and just have been putting it off, honestly. And I'm pretty sure it's on Kindle Unlimited. I think it'll be a good, like, easing into spring vibe. I think it's a little bit of a small town romance, and I haven't read anything from Lucy Score either. So I'm excited to get to this one. And if I like it, hopefully I'll want to binge the rest of the series. The next prompt I got was a book you plan to binge. So for this one, I chose none other than Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. I'm so excited to finish up this duology. Heartless Hunter was such a standout read to me from last year, so I'm definitely going to devour it in like a day or two. I just know it already. So the next prompt that I pulled was highest rated book on your Goodreads TBR. So after consulting Goodreads, it seems that Sunrise on the Reaping is the highest rating and that it'll be on my March TBR, which worked out perfectly, honestly. I really wanted this one on my March TBR, and honestly, it's such a great sign that it already has such high ratings. So I can't wait for this one. I'm so excited. Let me know if you guys are planning to read it too. For prompt number 6, I got a book with a love triangle. So for this one, I chose Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. I think some of the people who didn't like this book either didn't like the love triangle aspect or didn't love kind of the spice aspect. And I honestly don't care about either. I'm down for it. I'm here for it. Let's do it. I'm excited to read Allie Hazelwood's first college romance and just kind of be thrown back into the nostalgia of college. Okay, and then for the 7th and final prompt, I got a book with more than one person on the cover. So for this one, I chose First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is one that I feel like everyone was talking about around Valentine's Day, and the cover is so pretty. So I can't wait to read this one in the month of March too. So here are the physical books on my TBR this month, as well as the ones over here on the screen that I'll put. Thanks for coming along with me today and helping me create my monthly TBR. I'll be interested to see if having a little bit of a smaller TBR and then also incorporating like some new releases and Kindle reads is gonna help me get closer to actually knocking out my monthly TBR. It's on my bookish goals for the year to read all of the books on my monthly TBR for at least 1 month out of the year. So I want to set myself up for success and incorporate both physical reads and Kindle reads because it's just not practical for me not to use my Kindle in a month, you know? Let me know what's on your March TBR in the comments down below. And if you have any special reading vlog requests for me for the upcoming month, definitely let me know in the comments too. If you made it this far in the video, comment down below with the shamrock emoji for the month of March so I can know who made it to the end. If you're new to my my channel, be sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss a video from me. And if you enjoy these monthly TBR videos, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I think that's gonna be it for today's video though, guys. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you super soon in my next one. Bye everyone.